3 cats, 1 goal, survival. Each using its own special skills and adaptations. Striving for their place in the Big Cat Challenge. Africa. A daunting wilderness where life plays out like a game of chance. Here, even for the hunters, survival is as unpredictable as for the hunted. But at the top of the food chain, the 3 biggest cats hold the advantage with distinctive talents. The lion's enormous strength and cunning teamwork. The elusive silence and shrewd intelligence of the leopard, and the cheetah's swift flair. The challenge forces the cats to use these skills not only to exist, but to outwit the others at this dangerous game. The trophy, survival. The backdrop for this challenge lies in southern Africa on a vast privately owned game reserve called Mala Mala. Here, the diverse landscape favors the hunting strategies and particular lifestyles of all 3 big cats. This is the bushveld, a combination of indigenous woodlands and lush thickets interspersed with wide open grass plains. An immense expanse, wild and unspoiled. A perfect habitat where even the endangered animals of Africa thrive and prosper. This idyllic wilderness provides an Eden for an endless number of herbivores. But paradise comes at a price here, for where the masses gather to graze, there are hungry hunters hiding at the edges, camouflaged by the dappled shadows, patiently waiting for the next table sitting. Which one of the cats will strike next depends on opportunity and circumstance. The cheetah prefers to hunt by day when the other 2 big cats tend to rest. An impala ewe makes just the right size portion for the most slender of the 3 big cats. But weighing in at an average of just 43 kilograms, the featherweight female cheetah often becomes victim to the intimidation of others. With 120 kilograms or more of almost pure muscle, the lioness's size gives her the advantage in this confrontation. Pirating from the cheetah poses no challenge at all. Shrewdly, the male leopard, a 60-kilogram middleweight, sits out this round of the Big Cat Challenge. And the meal score, lions 1, cheetahs 0. The lioness's challenge cost the cheetah her meal, a minor price to pay in this dangerous game. Had she taken on the larger cat's challenge, she may have lost her life. Her timid disposition ensured her safety, and ultimately that of her offspring, but only for now. She still needs to find food to survive. At the vulnerable age of only 3 weeks, the cubs depend entirely on their mother. Her return gives them a great excuse for a game. But while the cubs use their mother as an obstacle course, she cannot let her guard down. Several predators, including the other 2 big cats, would kill her cubs without hesitation. Now, under her protection, they can blissfully play, but when their mother goes hunting, they need help in avoiding detection. For this reason, the young cub's coat grows thick and grey, a concealing outfit against the backdrop of the tall grass of the plains. One theory suggests that this colouring also makes them resemble a honey badger, a small, fierce carnivore avoided by most animals. The ending day signals the cheetah's bedtime. Staying active during the night would increase the danger of meeting with strong opponents, the other two big cats of this challenge, so following a separate shift avoids a potentially dangerous confrontation. For the cheetah, this strategy increases her chances in the survival game. Darkness brings out the creatures of the night. The evening does not start well for this mother leopard. Her fully grown male cub irritates her. The leopard is known for its elusive and silent nature, yet this youngster mastered none of the species' usual characteristics. With such an ill-mannered dependent on her tail, there'll be no hunting for this mother tonight. But he needs to learn a leopard's way of life quickly because at the age of 18 months, he has outgrown his parental bond. Soon he must leave his mother to lead the life typical of his kind, solitary, furtive, and shrewd. Nearby, the lion cub living with his family does not need to harass his mother to play. Unlike his spotted cousin, he can choose between a multitude of siblings to keep him occupied. But like the leopard, the lion cub's time with the family is running out. Although lioness sisters usually stay with their maternal pride, the brothers leave to set up their own territory. This separation of siblings guarantees no incest. The night shift comes to an end, and the bushveld stirs into a new day. The largest of the big cats don't seem to take much notice of the changing hour. Their notoriously lazy nature results in only 4 or 5 hours of exertion a day. This particular morning, the only ones with any energy at all appear to be the cubs. Most of the adults tolerate the youngsters' antics. However, not all parents share an easygoing temperament. In the neighboring territory, another group of lions move about with a little more vigor. These bachelors formed a coalition several years back when they left their maternal pride. Then the brothers lost all connections to the pride, and now they control a territory of their own. While on patrol, they always look out for an opportunity to satisfy their appetite. They follow no particular schedule, and early morning presents the perfect time for breakfast. The most powerful of cats can easily take on a buffalo twice his size. But buffaloes are not so easily fooled. A slight whiff of lion in the morning breeze alerts the whole herd. When there's a known predator around, the best form of defense becomes attack. The roles reverse. Prey turns to pursuer. Their advancing bulk forces the mighty predators into retreat. The buffaloes win the battle, for now. But who will win next? Hardly shaken by the showdown, the lions move away. With their position exposed, they lose their chance of catching a bite. Now, in midsummer, the buffaloes have good reason for being so aggressively protective. It's their main calving season. Buffaloes calve at a time when the new mothers and their calves can feed on the greenest and most nutritious grass. A pregnant cow usually waits for a quiet moment to give birth, such as early morning when the herd rests and ruminates on the night's feed, and daylight allows her to see further into the bush for potential threats. The wobbly newborn's legs take a while to strengthen enough to stand. It will be several hours before the baby can move with the herd. Until then, it remains vulnerable to any predator on the prowl. That is, a predator bold enough to take on an overprotective buffalo mother and the rest of the herd. At last, the calf manages to stay on its feet, and mother nudges it towards her teats for its first drink. Like the bachelor lions, the cheetah mother missed her last meal. But unlike the lions, she cannot take on a buffalo, so she looks for something more suitable to her size, yet large enough to feed her 4 cubs as well. She stalks her prey, just like all the big cats, a painstaking process which requires extreme concentration and an endless amount of patience. She chooses her position very carefully. But suddenly a noisy snitch gives her away. She abandons the hunt without even trying. The squirrel blew her cover anyway, and even her famous 110 km/h sprint can't help her get close to the impala now. In contrast, the leopard excels in undetected stalking, and even the most vigilant tattletale doesn't see her till it's too late. This master of disguise allows others to see her only when she deliberately comes out into the open. The female's clumsy son finally left her, and she comes into season. But she needs to advertise her readiness to mate, so she ventures boldly from her territory, scent marking her way into the neighbors. Both male and female leopards scent mark the boundaries of their terrain by spraying urine. In this case, the female uses spraying to publicize her condition. Hopefully, her well-placed clues will lead a male to her. Being a solitary animal with no pride male in residence, she needs to make a special effort to find a mate in order to continue her species. Every evening, the male leopard patrols his territory to ensure that no intruders infiltrated his terrain. Tonight is no exception. He finds that indeed a stranger trespassed onto his turf. And she had the audacity to leave her scent all along his path. But the aroma fills his nostrils like perfume, the sweet scent of a female in need. Spellbound, he persists in following the scent through the night and into the next day till he eventually finds her. But the romance does not get off to a good start. Courting does not exist between leopards. Business must be done within the next 5 days, the limit of her receptiveness to a male. The female initiates the whole act, but mating is tense and savage. The honeymoon, if one could call it that, lasts for 1 or 2 days while they mate repeatedly, sometimes as often as every 15 minutes. As soon as mating comes to an end, they go their separate ways. She lured him in, used him to conceive her next litter, and now she dismisses him without a second glance. If the mating succeeds, the female will give birth in 3 months and raise her cubs as a single parent. As one big cat looks forward to impending motherhood, another faces the end of it. During the night, this Mala Mala pride lioness's only cub disappeared. She calls out and waits to hear his familiar voice. Unfortunately, from now on, his gentle mews may only echo in her mind. He fell prey to one of the bachelors. Male lions do not tolerate other males' offspring and kill them when taking over a pride. Cruel as this may seem, it is essential for the survival of the species. This way, only the cubs born of the strongest male's genes continue the gene pool. Although infanticide is rare amongst cats, and in general the cubs face little danger from their own kind, they remain vulnerable to other predators, especially lions and hyenas. This bachelor lion killed this cub with one quick bite, but now he seems a little unsure as to what to do next. First, he licks it. Then, after a while, he decides to eat it. In vain, the lioness calls out one last time. The bachelor stakes his claim over the lifeless body and warns her to stay away. Nothing she does now can change the past events. A confrontation with a larger, strange lion could only cause her harm. Reluctantly, she retreats. All animals find raising a family in this wild wilderness very difficult. It proves especially hard for the single mothers who have to provide for and protect their young on their own. The cheetah returns from hunting to find that a predator took one of her cubs. Cheetah cubs are the most vulnerable of all the big cats. Once confronted by a hyena, lion, or leopard, a cheetah mother stands little chance of saving herself, let alone her young. This time the cheetah family lost only one member, a small price to pay considering the harsh competition that exists among the predators. While the cheetah mother focuses her strengths on raising the remaining family, the lioness that lost her only cub comes into estrus, and the pride males make sure she keeps the gene pool within their family. With mating on their minds, they do not notice the presence of the most elusive of the big cats. Sensibly, the leopard keeps out of the lion's way and stays hidden from the elephant breeding herd too. Silently, the leopard backs away, like an elusive ghost. The elephants didn't even know she was there. In comparison to the hardships that most youngsters face in the bush, for the baby of the largest land mammal on Earth, life poses few threats. Its mother can easily protect it by sheer virtue of her size. The large elephant breeding herds of Mala Mala rule the bushveld. Even the lions move out of their way. Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. On rare occasions, lions do hunt baby elephants, but they know when to step out of the way of an overprotective herd. The fading light sharpens the elephant's senses. A lion they can see poses minimal threat, but one that lurks in the dark spells potential danger. The herd shows zero tolerance towards the predators who do not move out of the way fast enough for their liking. Forcefully, they dispatch the lions to a safe distance for the night. Hopefully, there will be no further interruptions, and the lions can focus on the business at hand, mating. A few of the Mala Mala pride's adult males follow the mating pair, but they will have to wait their turn, if the lioness chooses to mate with them as well. While the pride males concentrate all their energy on mating, they do not patrol their territory, leaving it open to infiltration by intruders. The coalition of bachelors quickly seize their chance and move in on the unprotected turf. Stealthily, they find a herd of buffaloes and set up the perfect opportunity for a midnight feast. small lions, the bachelors depend on their powerful strength to pull down their prey. Death for the buffalo is inevitable. Soon, for the bachelor lions, dinner is served. The buffalo's last breath draws a few members of the herd closer. Amazingly, even though they can do nothing to help their unfortunate comrade, the herd does not flee to a safer distance. At least now, with the lions gorging, the mother and calf remain safe with the rest of the herd. Although the bachelors killed swiftly, some of the Mala Mala Pride members heard the slight commotion. In the end, the bachelors know their place, quickly back down and leave the enemy lines. No meal deserves losing one's life. Having dealt with the intruders, the pride males return to the kill and settle down to enjoy the confiscated meal. The big cat challenge for survival exists between cats of the same species too, so even among the lions there is a meal score when confrontation ensues. For tonight, bachelors 0, Mala Mala Pride lions 1. Soon the rest of the pride arrives. Free food always attracts takers. But the lionesses and their cubs know their place in the feeding hierarchy. They wait patiently in the shadows for the dominant males to eat their fill. Thanks to the bachelors, the pride eats well tonight. Somehow the news of a free meal gets broadcast over the bushveld. The scavengers assemble in anticipation of the forthcoming spread. By morning, the bony carcass marks the spot of the pride's midnight feast. The lions ate most of the juicy parts, but plenty of meat still covers the bones. Well, plenty of meat in vultures' terms, enough for their breakfast. These scavengers perform a vital role in the bushveld community, recycling leftovers back into the environment. But not everyone appreciates their efforts. A good display of power to show the vultures who is the strongest here. But tenacity forms part of the bird's disposition, and they won't give up such a good meal so easily. Typically, being bigger and stronger than the female, the leader of the pride confidently tries to dispatch the vultures himself. But in the end, trying to keep the last few scraps of the meal does not deserve another burst of energy, and the lion leaves the vultures to their prize. The leopard also made a kill during the night, but he did it so silently and stealthily that it went unnoticed. Without any fuss, and before an audience could gather, he took his meal up a tree. In combining strength and agility, the leopard clearly beats all the big cats. He can hoist a kill twice his weight up a tree. Off the ground, he eats at his own leisure, above thieving scavengers. For the leopard, it couldn't get better than this. He lies in a comfortable tree with enough food to last him the next few days. Now he can settle down for a well-deserved nap. For both the lion pride and leopard, the night shift ended well. By day, the big cats change watch. Now the cheetah emerges to hunt by daylight to avoid competition from the other big cats. Hopefully, her hunt goes undetected by her competitors, and she can provide a full meal for her growing cubs. Cheetahs have a relatively high success rate at hunting, capturing about 1/3 of their intended prey. It's not easy to get away from the fastest animal on Earth. Lunch is now ready to be served. She calls her cubs. The cheetahs need to eat quickly. They do not have the luxury of savoring a meal like the leopard does. Cheetahs seldom climb trees, and eating on the ground makes them vulnerable to anyone wanting to steal their food. Even a large group of impatient vultures can force the cheetahs off their kill. Not this time. The large birds cannot intimidate the cubs, who bravely turn on the mob of vultures. The flying scavengers retreat only a few meters. At least the cubs manage to keep them in their place, more than the lion did with his carcass. The lunch queue grows quickly. Patience may not be the scavenger's best trait, but one they need to master at every kill. The young cheetahs ate so much they can hardly walk. Lunch was good today. Satisfied that all her cubs ate enough food for one sitting, the cheetah mother leaves this meal site. The more time they spend here, the more dangerous the area becomes for them. They could be attacked by any cat close enough to spot their kill. She needs to take her young to a more secure place. Behind them, it becomes a free-for-all. If any of the other big cats arrive now, the cheetahs will all be safely tucked away in the bushes. Meanwhile, the scavengers waste no time with table manners. Whoever eats the fastest eats the most. The jackal gets the main prize, and the vultures make short work of the rest. The banquet ends quickly. By the time one of the bachelor lions arrives, not even a half-eaten bone remains on the ground. For once, the cheetahs win a round. The meal score this time, cheetahs 1, lions 0. Many scavengers possess an incredibly good sense of smell, and eventually a hyena's faithful nose leads her to the leopard and his kill. But she can only look longingly up the tree. In this situation, the leopard clearly has the upper hand. The hyena cannot get to his food while it remains within the safety of the branches, nor does she present much of a threat to him. Still, he avoids any sort of confrontation, so he simply waits out this game of endurance. Patience is one of the leopard's strongest traits. On the other hand, even the most determined of scavengers soon lose interest. The possibility of a few scraps falling out of the tree does not keep the hyena's attention for long. She decides to move on and look elsewhere for a better deal. Other opportunities will present themselves in the dark. With a full stomach and a good stash of food in the tree, the leopard doesn't need to kill again tonight, but he does need to patrol his territory to make sure no trespassers have violated the perimeter. Elusive as always, he vanishes into the night. For the moment, life poses no particular difficulties for the male leopard. On the contrary, the female faces new challenges. She gave birth to a single cub, which she now needs to feed and protect, all by herself. The rocky outcrop the female chose for her lair provides an excellent hiding place for her cub, especially when she needs to leave him to go hunting. The rocks also offer great exploring opportunities, a wonderful hidden world to keep an only child amused, well away from prowling eyes. If he survives through this most vulnerable time, he will grow up to be one of the next generations of big cats of Mala Mala. While the leopard cub still has a long way to go, the 3 cheetah cubs reached 7 months of age, well on their way to becoming capable adults. Lately, they watch their mother hunt and kill more attentively than usual. Sometimes they even join in. Even while they don't hunt, they practice on each other in anticipation of the big day when they will have to do it all on their own. Another day comes to an end over the vast wilderness of the bushveld, and the cheetahs retire for the night. Once more, the shifting light dictates who comes out on the prowl. The leopard mother left her cub in the rocky lair, but the longer she stays away, the bigger the chance of his discovery by others. She must find something to eat very quickly. Luckily, the leopard is not a fussy eater. Anything small enough to catch and kill will do. She spots a scrub hare. No need for any elaborate stalking. Wonderfully camouflaged, she simply waits in ambush for the hare to come to her. She plucks most of the fur off before eating, a habit common to most leopards. For a big cat, a scrub hare provides little more than a snack, but enough to subdue the hunger pangs for the lactating mother. The night hunters move out in force tonight. And the Mala Mala pride never misses a chance to catch its favorite dinner, buffalo. But there are great risks involved in hunting buffaloes. Lashing out with teeth and claws does not make the best hunter. The skill comes in avoiding the buffalo's sharp weapons, his horns and hoofs, something which this lioness unfortunately still needs to learn. In the end, team strength prevails. The old gladiator did not stand a chance against the partnership of well-organized attackers. While the lions settle down for their meal, the first storm of summer breaks over the bushveld. But winter has left the land dry and vulnerable to fire. Just a little spark sets the bush ablaze. Like a hungry predator, the fire ravages the grasslands, forcing even the tiniest of insects to flee. Birds immediately take advantage of this great opportunity. Fueled by the desiccated vegetation, the fire passes through the area quickly, leaving in its wake a wasteland covered in soot. But devastating as it may seem, the burning of the land forms an important part of nature's cycle of renewal. The animals of the bushveld wait for the new burst of nutrition. Soon this calf will have its first graze on young and tender shoots. Life wastes no time in rejuvenating. Even without rainfall, the grass begins to grow again almost overnight. The 3 cheetah cubs begin a new part of their lives. For the first time, they hunt alone, unassisted by their mother. Just like the bachelor lions, they wisely formed a coalition. They hunt together. 3 sets of claws are better than 1. Step 1 complete. They overpower the duiker. Step 2, suffocate it. But it takes too long. The bleating carries over the land. Mother made it look so easy. Inevitably, another predator heard the duiker's distress call. The leopard uses her size and demeanor to intimidate the 3 brothers. Now time becomes the crucial factor if the leopard wants to keep her pirated prize. A lioness arrives at the edge of the thicket, only a few leaps away from the leopard. Experience taught the leopard to be quick in her action. A slight falter, and the game will be over. Lions climb trees reasonably well, but the leopard's experience, smaller size, and agility combine to outwit the lioness, and the kill remains tantalizingly out of reach. The lion division strengthens. The leopard wastes no time. She might as well eat while she holds the advantage. In the big cat challenge, where lion, leopard and cheetah compete to survive, the cheetah brothers clearly do not yet know their strength and weakness. A lioness forces them to retreat. Learning when to back down and when to fight is an all-important lesson for a big cat if it wants to keep its place within the challenge. Clearly, the leopard possesses the upper hand in this round. But the lion division strengthens even more. The leopard starts to get rather nervous about the developments below. The big males manage to intimidate the leopard into retreating to the thinnest branches. But even that does not help the lions to get to the kill. Eventually, the lion gives up the siege and leaves the leopard to her loot. In the ultimate showdown between all the big cats, all contestants succeed one way or another. Not one has lost its life. But in the all-important meal score, there can only be one victor. For the most cunning of the lot, the leopard, the score is 1. The most disadvantaged contestants this time, the cheetahs, 0. And the ones with the heaviest advantage, the lions, 0. This time, weight was not the deciding factor. The leopard's shrewd talent outwitted them all. The leopard won this round, but there will be many more in the vastness of the Mala Mala wilderness. The cheetah brothers learned quickly from their mistakes. Their unrivaled speed served them well in bringing down an impala ewe. Now they eat quickly, making sure they feed before anybody can steal their food this time. The young leopard cub still has a lot to learn before he can become the elusive ghost of the night like his mother. But his training has already begun. Today's lesson quickens the reflexes, and mother's tail makes a good target. Among the lions, the throne of the kingdom remains within the Mala Mala pride. And the future generation of the pride make their first steps into the world. A world where only the fittest survive. An untamed wilderness where each round is won or lost, depending on the skills required for the challenge. Each big cat possessing the ability to outwit the opponents and hold the trophy of the Big Cat Challenge: survival.